Hello, my name is Fabian, and I want to tell you about who wrote Les Miserables, and I will try to explain to them in a short time that I know about the author. Les Miserables, as all know, it was one of the great novels of the 19th century. It was wrote by Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo was born in Besancon, France in 1802. He was the youngest of the three brothers, and he spent his childhood in several places thanks to work of his father. He decided at an early to be a writer, and he won several awards, and finally in the 1862 he wrote Les Miserables. In the book he describes and criticizes the social injustice in France between the fall of Napoleon until the failed revolution against the King Louis Philippe in 1832. Les Miserables is a phrase French and that can be translated but has two meanings. First, people who live in misery, and two, people who live outside society in total poverty. When the famous novel was published, had an immediately popular success and immediately influenced a lot of the French society. Finally, the, the famous author died in 1885, and he is still remembered like one of the great and finest poet of the history. It is all.
The story is very, very realistic because it shows a universe of humble, suffering, hardworking, but still miserable people. The story shows that people, in addition to having suffered the misfortune to being poor, something worse happened to them. They were unhappy. In other words, they were miserable, as in many real life cases. Another reason that the novel is realistic is that there are people who would do anything to get money, telling lies, being unfair and cruel to other people because they lack empathy and honesty. His ambition for money is much more important than anything else. The reason is social inequality, that is a problem that is experienced every day in this world, which in turn is caused by economic inequality, creating rich and poor groups. The poor sector is discriminated against, receiving unfavorable treatment by other people. Many times, the government forgets them, like in a real life. Well, the last reason that resembles reality is the discrimination that prostitutes receive. Even today, they are frowned upon and singled out for choosing sex work. They are judged without knowing the story of each one.
It describes and criticizes social injustice in France, between the fall of Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 and the Fair Revolution against King Louis Philippe in 1830. France was in very deep economic crisis, so they didn't have to eat. That's why Valjean had to steal. So we read about a woman who protected her child. She did everything to keep her daughter safe. She gave and sacrificed her life for Cosette. She was a single mother, and at that time, people pointed women like her. She was poor and she had to lie to get a job, but she was fired when they discovered the truth. In this story, we saw that woman is just part of injustice in the society. They have to do everything to have a little money to eat something. In the barricade, women had to stay at home with children. If the women worked, they received less money than men. So they had nobility and the clergy. So it showed with the bishop, he helped Valjean. Valjean robbed the candlestick and the bishop gave him when the police caught him. It was a symbol of redemption in the novel. The author, Hugo, wanted to show how the churches give a second opportunity.
My question is, what do you feel when we read about the Fountain's life? When I read about the Fountain's life, I felt so sorry for her. I felt sad and annoyed because how the Fountain's life ended. I do think she gave her all and will know it. She sold her hair, her teeth, she became a prostitute. I think she would do anything for her child, and it was pitiful to know that there are people like 10 years taking advantage for others. She deserved to live, so she didn't have a very long life with Cosette. It was somewhat tragic because she was a very, very good person, but outside the circumstance caused her death. But Valjean helped her, and it would be nice for her to see how her daughter turned out. But I think she knew Valjean would hurt her daughter. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that the good characters always die in the good stories.